And so it is.
If I could just have 2 weeks with nothing to do, I could get organized. And people were saying in 2020, nope, that wasn't the problem. I resemble that remark. So welcome to Unity Santa Fe, where we support, nourish, and inspire one another to recognize divine order is and to express the Christ we are in everything we think, say, and do every week of the year. Today's message, New Year, New Name, will support you in taking on a new name to embody in the new year. And it will be based also on a book called Feel Free to Prosper. So for the second part of the service, the White Stone Meditation will guide you in receiving a new name, a name that will reveal to you what will support you in the possibility of being all you have come here to be. And I know that to the extent we embrace this message, we are more fully living our mission and vision statements, which I invite you to affirm together. Unity Santa Fe is a welcoming interspiritual community that celebrates the oneness and divinity of all creation. Our mission is to raise consciousness, transform lives, heal the planet, one person at a time, beginning with me. And our Unity Santa Fe core values are God first, awareness, joy, love, appreciation, and humble surrender. So I celebrate that we not only show up here in the Cyber Sanctuary on Sunday mornings, but we show up in the world living and expressing this vision, mission, and core values in a way that blesses ourselves and others beyond measure. And this toast from Oprah Winfrey may be more meaningful this year than when she said it a few years ago. She said, "Cheers to a new year and another chance to get it right." So would it be okay with you to get it right, to make 2021 the best year ever, and to feel free to prosper in 2021? Do I hear any waves that says, yeah, sign me up? I'll take that one. Great, great. Can't get an amen on Zoom. Okay, then you're in the right place, because your Unity Santa Fe community is here to support you in getting it right, making 2021 the best year ever by beginning the new year with a new name and by a new attitude of feeling free to prosper in every area of your life. So, wahoo! So my purpose today is to support you in discerning the spiritual name you're being called to embody in 2021. And in the process, making 2021 the best year ever as you say yes to feeling free to prosper in every area of your life. So to address the two parts of the service, we kind of have two human conditions and two spiritual solutions. So the first human condition is insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And the first solution, the solution to that one is sanity, doing things differently and experiencing different results. The second human condition is fear and lack consciousness. And the second spiritual solution is confidence and prosperity consciousness. Over the years, I have continually evolved my spiritual practice. I let go of old ways that no longer serve me, and I add new practices. And it's been my experience that trying to do everything differently overnight is a setup for failure. So my advice, and what I found works for me in my life, is to just pick one thing and do it until it becomes a positive habit. Ellen Goodman said, we spend January 1st walking through our lives room by room, drawing up a list of work to be done, cracks to be patched. Maybe this year, to balance the list, we ought to walk through the rooms of our lives, not looking for flaws, but for potential. Wow, what a novel idea. So I've had so many last services as the minister of Unity Santa Fe the past week. Christmas Sunday, Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, and now today is my last Whitestone Sunday service. Whatever will I be doing a year from now? This year, I am preceding the Whitestone ceremony with an invitation for you to feel free to prosper. Feel Free to Prosper is a book and spiritual practice. Here's the book that our member Cheyenne Black recommended to our prosperity team, who requested I read the book and consider it as a basis for a few Sunday messages in January 2021. I have to admit, I was somewhat hesitating or reluctant to consider doing it. I mean, after all, do you have any idea how many prosperity books I have read in the past 36 years that I've been a serious Unity student? I mean, what could possibly be different about this one? But I promptly ordered a free sample of the book that was delivered instantly to my Kindle. But with the business of the past few months, I got caught up in round to it syndrome. You know, when you just don't get round to it. Suddenly, it was December 29th. And in preparation for the New Year's Eve Burning Bowl service, I went to Unity Santa Fe to take a photo of our burning bowl on the altar for my Zoom virtual background. As I was leaving the office, I was drawn to a small stack of books that someone donated that have been sitting on the corner of Tanya's desk for a number of months, maybe even since we closed in the middle of March. So for some reason, the stack of books was calling me, even though I'm in the process of releasing hundreds of books in preparation for downsizing. So against what I thought was my better judgment, I went through the stack of 6 to 8 books and was shocked to discover Feel Free to Prosper was among them. And it's like new. There's a couple of highlights in it. That's it. So I thought, well, I guess the universe wants me to read the entire book, not just the free Kindle sample. Or, maybe this is my first of many prosperity demonstration promised by the author, Marilyn Janae. Wow, a $17.95 book for free. So I began reading the book on Wednesday night and was pleasantly surprised how engaging it is. And I didn't want to put it down when it was time for lights out. I've been reading it each day since and taking copious notes. And what excites me about the book is that the spiritual principles and practices that Janae focuses on are mostly the same ones that I credit for helping me raise my prosperity consciousness. How cool that someone else gleaned them and has made them readily available in one place. You know, instead of taking 20 years to gather them from so many places, here they are in this one place, available to anyone who wants to feel free to prosper. And I just want to mention that when we talk about prosperity, even though a lot of what the book is about, or mostly what the book is about, and the testimonials and stuff are about money, prosperity is about every area of our life. It's about our health. It's about our relationships. It's about our sense of well-being, our creativity, our spontaneity. So if you don't have a financial need, Listen to this message anyway, because you can apply the same principles to any area where you would like to be more abundantly prosperous. And I don't want you to just take my word for it about this book, because this book has received glowing reviews by Reverend Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, by Dee Wallace of E.T., the extraterrestrial fame, and Olympic medalist Catherine Garceau, who said, "Doing this work has truly created a shift in my life that is leading to the most inspiring and life-changing times of my life so far." And that's for an Olympic medalist to say that. It's pretty cool. Other acclaims include a realtor who experienced shelter-in-place prosperity when, in the midst of the uncertainty and chaos of 2020, her business prospered beyond anything it had done before when she applied these principles. And that's all fine and good to hear about all those people we don't really know, but there's the impact on people we do know right here in our Unity Santa Fe community. So in addition to finding the book being my first prosperity demonstration as a result of the book, Karen Roberts shared an unexpected income story that happened to her a few weeks ago when she found several items she was shopping for and purchased them for much less than the marked price and realized a savings of $252. And having pledged to give 10% of unexpected income to Unity Santa Fe, as soon as she arrived home, she promptly went to unitysantafe.org, clicked on the give button, and sent a tithe of $25. So congratulations, Karen, and thank you for paying it forward. And Cheyenne Black, who recommended the book to the Prosperity team, reported these 4 recent Feel Free to Prosper stories. The first one is after a number of mix-ups regarding bills that totaled $2,500, even though Cheyenne technically did not fit the criteria, the organization who had originally denied her claim decided that in the interest of fairness, they were going to waive the requirements and pay the entire $2,500. That's pretty impressive when an organization decides to do something in the interest of fairness. Another story she shared is a potential new client called Cheyenne and said that 3 people suggested Cheyenne's accounting business, and they recommended it on Facebook. And she said this is a clear example of universal, or what I call divine marketing, because Cheyenne doesn't have a Facebook account. So how do you like that? Another story, a friend of Cheyenne's read the book, and within 2 weeks, her employer gave them unexpected bonuses. And this friend has been in that company for 4 years, and they've never given bonuses before. And yet they did in December of 2020. And finally, another friend of Cheyenne's received a letter in the mail, and her ex-boyfriend, who had transitioned 5 years ago, had put her as a beneficiary on his IRA, and she received about $1,500 of unexpected income that she had no idea. He had named her as beneficiary. So all those examples, like I said, and the book, they focus on financial prosperity, but I want you to hear these, what I'm going to say today, and consider getting this book and joining us in a study of it, and applying it to any form of prosperity that you would like to raise your consciousness about. And so again, that could be health, it could be relationships, your well-being, creativity, or spontaneity. So here are some of the basic principles and practices. I'm not going to go over all of them that are in part 1, but the ones that I thought were particularly noteworthy to highlight today. They're principles and practices that you can use to raise your prosperity consciousness and feel free to prosper. And the first thing it's important to know that prosperity isn't something you get to. It's something you already are. And this quote or that quote from Peggy McCall goes beyond being able to say, I am prosperous. This is about knowing you are prosperity itself. And I invite you to try that on by saying, I am prosperity. I am prosperity. So even though you're muted, just try that on. I am prosperity. And I actually have this saying on a desk sign that I bought at Unity Village many years ago. And I remember when I first got it, I thought, I wonder why it doesn't say I am prosperous. But having raised my prosperity consciousness, I now realize I am prosperity itself. My divine nature is prosperity. And I'd also like to add to McCall's statement that prosperity isn't something you get, it's something within you that you allow to radiate from you. To me, one of the most important principles is the next one, which Janae calls, let go of the how to enjoy the now. And I think of this as letting go of the how and focusing on the what. And the what is divine mind, which our divine nature is aligned with or one with. So by tapping into divine mind, which is the field of all possibilities and what Dr. Joseph Murphy calls our invisible means of support, you will spontaneously attract and be guided to results beyond your wildest dreams, instead of settling for what your finite mind and ego can imagine or visualize. So my Divine Mind prayer partners have witnessed this at work among ourselves, and they've certainly witnessed me pray in total surrender to my divine nature, for my divine nature to reveal what is mine to do in any given desire of my heart. And I did it regarding where to go on my sabbatical. I'm doing it regarding where I may move after I sell this house. I've done it regarding my retirement plans, everything. I don't tell the universe what to do. I open myself to what my divine nature wants for me, which is always my highest good. I mean, after all, why would I want to receive anything less than what it is God's good pleasure to give me, which is the kingdom? So I don't want to limit the universe, and I certainly hope you don't either. Another point Janae makes is that the underlying cause of financial distress is a belief in separation from the source of your supply. And this overcoming of the belief in separation is the second movement of our Unity Santa Fe mission-centered partnership, which is oneness. So our first movement is to be mission instead of ministers centered. And the second movement is to know our oneness. So probably my favorite affirmation in this regard is, my divine nature is my source. My consciousness of my divine nature is my supply. Now, the subtitle of the book is 2 weeks to unexpected income with the simplest prosperity laws available. Why 2 weeks? Well, it takes 2 weeks to create a new neural network pathway in the brain. So this means it takes about 2 weeks to overcome any resistance that our subconscious mind, which is the bedrock of lack consciousness, may have. So it takes about 2 weeks to shift to new beliefs and new thoughts, so that our dominant thoughts reflect a prosperity consciousness. And we have to do this with what Janae calls friendly persuasion that creates agreement between the conscious and subconscious minds. Because I may know what I believe consciously, but guess what, folks? I don't have a clue what I believe subconsciously. And I think this is particularly true. And someday I'm going to give a whole talk about this whole idea of what I call spiritual arrogance. When people think I'm immune from this disease, I can't get this because I have such a great prosperity consciousness. Well, that's great because you know what you consciously believe. But I got news for you. You don't have a clue what you subconsciously believe. So it's very important to make sure we do everything possible to create agreement between the conscious and subconscious minds. We have to nurture thoughts with positive expectation. We have to be willing to turn it over to divine mind, as I mentioned earlier, and surrender not the situation, but surrender, not the surrender control, but to surrender the situation to divine mind, our divine nature. And we have to relax and let go and know that it's not mine of my human self. It's not yours of your human self to make it happen. Our job is to apply the rules and practice the principles, and that key one being to turn it over. She says that the number one internal foundation you must build in order to receive guidance on what to do and what not to do is to know the mindset, to have the mindset to succeed, which includes having an open mind, being willing to change, feeling there is something better for you, that you can overcome life and the conditions and beliefs, and putting your faith in what you want instead of what you don't want. Janae calls this putting the universe on speed dial. And that reminds me of Krishna Das, and I know Carol and Jerry are smiling as I start to say this. Krishna Das sings a song called Jesus is on the main line. Tell him what you want. So, I don't know, can we have a few bars of that, Brian? No, that's okay. Last minute. So, and then there's the power of the word. We have to quit giving the universe a mixed message by unconsciously repeating negative words that are incongruent with positive affirmations of truth. Our words have to be in agreement with our claim. So if you're seeking health and you're affirming and claiming your perfect health and wholeness, it defeats it if you go around telling everybody how sick you are. So they have to be congruent. How many times have I found myself saying, I can't imagine having that much money? Well, guess what? I better be able to imagine it if I want it to happen. So our word becomes flesh, comes into manifestation when we make our claim with faith and expectation, and when we make our word congruent, not only in our claim, but as we're going about our daily life. Dr. Joseph Murphy, who is one of Janae's mentors, says, you attract what you are. That's why we have to build our dreams in consciousness first, by convincing our subconscious mind that we already have what we want. So it sounds a little weird to say we have something when we know literally we don't have it yet, but the subconscious mind doesn't know that. So we have to speak affirmatively. That's why unity prayers are always in the present tense. We're not praying for something to happen in the future because it will always be in the future. We want to pray as if we already have it. So we have to plant or build our dreams by planting the seed in our mental garden and then nurturing it with our positive thoughts and feelings. And if you don't have anything else to apply these principles to, start building in your consciousness the minister of your dreams, attracting the minister of your dreams, applying these principles. Janae says, don't want it, own it, be it, expect it, accept it. Sort of like Greg Braden saying, pray rain instead of pray for rain. You've got to be the rain. You've got to embody the rain that you want, you know, instead of praying for it. You've got to embody the peace that you want to see in the world instead of praying for it. And of course, gratitude. You've got to practice gratitude, not for just what you have already received, but in advance for what you can't yet see. That's called unconditional gratitude. That's based on faith rather than conditions. St. Augustine said, faith is to believe what you do not see, and the reward of this faith is to see what you can believe. So God first is our first Unity Santa Fe core value. So we have to become still. We have to be quiet. We have to open ourselves to guidance in that first how-to step of prayer and meditation. We have to focus our thoughts and feelings on the claim or the solution that we're looking for rather than on the problem. And I love this saying, don't tell God about your big problem. Tell your problem about your big God. And then go about your life knowing that all is well, that it's already complete on the spiritual realm. So get into that feeling as if it is already resolved or your claim is already manifest, because your divine nature knows what to do, when to do it, and when to do nothing at all. And the final question that I thought was interesting is how long will manifestation take? And she says, manifestation travels at the speed of consciousness. Manifestation travels at the speed of consciousness. That's why we have to raise our prosperity consciousness. So that's what I'm setting forth in terms of how to start off your new year this year. And certainly want to invite you to jump on board Wednesdays for the next 3 weeks at 6 o'clock. Cheyenne and Karen and I will be there, and let's support, nourish, and inspire one another to embody these practices and principles so that we truly begin this new year feeling free to prosper and indeed prospering beyond our wildest dreams. So now, during this white stone meditation that we're going into, we have an opportunity to catch Spirit's vision of a new name, a spiritual intention. That's what the name is. And maybe it'll be related to feeling free to prosper. And then later today or tomorrow, it's a good idea to flesh out that vision and catch Spirit's vision of what steps you need to take in order to embody that new name. And this is really important because a spiritual name comes from spirit. It comes through the heart. It's not something that comes through our intellect. And it focuses us on our spiritual growth. So in the white stone ritual, you will experience a vision of your potential. It may be a vision, it may be the words you hear, it may be a feeling that you feel. But you will get this, you will catch this glimpse of your potential, of Spirit's intention for what your divine nature, the Spirit of the living God that you are, would have you more fully be. And the white stone comes from Revelations chapter 2, verse 17, that reads, "Let anyone who has an ear listen to what the Spirit is saying. To everyone who conquers, I will give some of the hidden manna, and I will give a white stone. And on the white stone is written a new name that no one knows except the one who receives it. Emily Cady, who wrote Unity's foundational book, Lessons in Truth, says, the white stone is a cleansed consciousness. And consciousness is everything that we've ever thought or felt. It's the illumined state of mind, she says, in which we accept our spiritual name of I am, or Christ. An ancient custom was to hand to an acquitted prisoner a white stone, signifying his starting life afresh and free from stigma. So the white stone signifies for each of us a fresh start in life, free from tension, upsets, disappointments, and resentments of the past. It's a time when we come into a consciousness of our spiritual nature, the new name we're discerning today, and when we do all that is possible to express and manifest this nature. So just knowing we are spiritual beings isn't enough. That's only the beginning. We have to begin to actually live by using aright all the spiritual powers or qualities that make up our divine nature. This means we've got to discipline our thinking, feeling, speaking, acting, and reacting according to truth until we are governed by the Christ, our divine nature, in all that we do, not just some of the things, but in all we do. So I hope you paid attention to the newsletter and brought a white stone to today's service. If you didn't, a piece of paper will do. Just reach over and grab a piece of paper and a pencil, and you can find a stone later on to write on. So while holding the stone or the paper in your hand, let's turn within for a sacred time of shared prayer, knowing that at the end of the ritual, you will have an opportunity to write your name on the stone you're holding now, or the one you find in nature later, with an indelible marker. So I invite you to bring yourself into a conscious awareness of the present moment by becoming the watcher, just observing your breathing, letting it find its own rhythm and pace, letting it gently dissolve any physical discomfort, any mental chatter, anything that would distract you from this sacred process. So in ancient times, when people had overcome and made their connection with the divine, they received a new name. Abram became Abraham. Sarai became Sarah. Saul became Paul. I began going by Brendolyn instead of Lynn in September 1997 to remind me that in sobriety, I have overcome and made a deeper connection with spirit. In biblical times, a child wasn't given a name because the parents liked the name. A name was chosen based on whatever essence the parents saw in the child. Today, when we overcome and move forward with faith, we are freed from bondage and are given a new name. Not a new name that people will call us, rather a new name that Spirit is calling us to be. A new name that Spirit is calling you to be, a new name that Spirit is calling me to be. A new name that Spirit is calling us to step into in a more grand way than ever before. So just feel or imagine the stone in your hand and know that it symbolically represents your freedom. Release from old ways of thinking, old ways of living, old ways of being. Freedom from the limiting ways of expressing your creative life force and spirit. Feel the stone in your hand or in your mind and know that it represents an opportunity to begin anew with a clean slate. And silently say to yourself, I am free. I have a clean slate. I can choose any moment to not just begin again. I can choose to begin anew right now, this very moment. In this recognition, I free myself to live more fully, releasing myself from bondage, the prison of limiting thoughts about myself, others, and the world. Today, I receive a new name, for I have overcome adversity. I have freed myself to live more fully conscious of the activity of spirit in every aspect of my life. Now begin to invite the whole Spirit of God, the Holy Spirit, the I am, into the consciousness of your heart and mind, and hear it say, behold, I make all things new. This white stone is a promise of a new life. Whatever has happened in the past is over. This stone is a sign of my ability to begin anew in this moment, to know that I am free from all that has bound me. In a few moments, you will have time to allow Spirit to speak directly to you in the silence and reveal to you a new name. Just let it come to you easily without trying to make it happen. Hear it beckon you. Spirit is decreeing a name for you to be written on the stone, an insight into your divine purpose, an insight into your holy essence. What will your life be called in 2021? Is it a name? Is it a title? Is it a quality that Spirit is pressing out through you? Maybe a new state of being, a new career. In this moment, allow yourself to simply open to the activity of the Holy Spirit as you silently say, God in me, God as me, reveals my true essence. God reveals my next step. God as me lives a joyous, peaceful, healthy, abundantly prosperous, and fulfilling life. I always start with the words I am on my stone. And then let Spirit reveal the highest good it wants for your life. What will be written on your stone? It is God's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Accept this consciousness of ever increasing good in your life and allow a feeling of gratitude and thanksgiving to flow over you, in you, through you, as you receive your new name. Along with this new name comes the power and guidance to achieve all that you desire. This is your new name. See it, decree it, silently claim it with conviction by saying, I am that. I am that. I am new name. And the I am that is within me is greater than that is in the world. I am in the flow of the most amazing grace, on the path to the most amazing greatness I can imagine. The book of Revelation states that the white stone carries a new name. The spiritual identity and deeper awareness of what God has planned for you. No one except you and your divine nature knows what this new name is. It has been given you to be lived out, to be expressed, to be embodied as you. It is what your divine nature is calling you to be or do. It is a whisper from your soul that you are so much more than you have ever let come into expression. I encourage you to place this white stone on your personal altar as a reminder of that promise. As we gently bring our attention back to this time and place, silently say, thank you, divine nature that I am, for the courage to begin again by embodying my new name and my new life. Thank you, divine essence I am. Thank you, thank you, thank you that it is so and so it is. Amen. So, you know your how-tos. God first, manifestation follows. Flesh out the vision, flesh out your name with action steps. Discern not from your intellect, but surrendering and letting God reveal to you, letting your divine nature reveal to you what steps to take. And every day, turn within and open yourself to Spirit's guidance regarding what is yours to do today to live this new name, this spiritual intention. And on Wednesdays, January 6th through the 20th at 6 p.m. in our cyber sanctuary, join me, Karen Roberts, and Cheyenne Black to support, nourish, and inspire one another to raise our prosperity consciousness by applying the principles and practices of Feel Free to Prosper. 2 weeks to unexpected income and other forms of prosperity with the simplest prosperity laws available. I celebrate you feeling free to prosper and embodying your new name in 2021. If you are ready to move beyond your present circumstances and fulfill the potential to live a more prosperous, inspiring, and successful life that you know deep in your heart is within you. And now we'll be blessed by Catherine singing a Karen Drucker song, Blessing to the World.
You are the heart, you blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are and all you do is a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are and all you do is a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are and all you do is a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are and all you do is a blessing to the world.
Thank you, Catherine and Brian, for the magic you did with Karen Drucker's song. Whew. So speaking of blessings, it's time for our prosperity blessing. And right before that, I want to welcome, because part of our prosperity is welcoming first timers. So if you're here for the very first time in our cyber sanctuary, then welcome, welcome, welcome. And we invite you to get on our mail list, our email list, by emailing communications@unitysantafe.org. And Tanya will be dancing with joy to put you on our email list. And I'd love it if you want to get in touch with me by phone, and we can connect and get to know each other. So thank you for the blessing that you are, and thank you for joining us and raising our consciousness by being one more person at a time in that endeavor. So now I want to invite everyone to join me for a virtual love offering candle lighting ceremony. So take a moment to visualize yourself going to the altar in our sanctuary with your prayer slip and your gift, and feel the joy of giving as you light a virtual candle, remembering you are the light of the world, placing it in a virtual bed of salt, remembering you are the salt of the earth, and placing your gift in a virtual basket on the altar of your heart. And as you listen to the song As I Give, sung by Catherine, accompanied by Brian, take a moment to either bless the offering you have already sent for today's service, or write the check you would have written in the sanctuary before placing it in the basket, or click on the give link that Tanya is posting in the chat box now. This link goes straight to our homepage, where you can click the give button and electronically send your gift. So whether you mail a check, give through online banking, or give on our webpage, This is your opportunity to give as source of unity Santa Fe, a source of yours and others' spiritual nourishment.
As I give, so do I receive, joyfully, gratefully. As I give, so do I receive, fully, freely. God is a river where abundance flows. Stepping into it, I accept and know as I give, so do I receive. As I give, so do I receive, offering my first and best. As I give, so do I receive, knowing how I've been blessed. God is a river where abundance flows. Stepping into it, I accept and know as I give, so do I receive. As I give, so do I receive, back to where my soul is fed. As I give, so do I receive. Thank you for my daily bread. God is a river where abundance flows. Stepping into it, I accept and know as I give, so do I receive. As I give, so do I receive.
What a beautiful song. Thank you so much, Karen, for bringing that to us from Unity in San Diego. So let's pray together our love offering blessing. In a universe overflowing with unlimited abundance, all the needs of Unity Santa Fe and those we serve are bountifully met from every direction, known and unknown, expected and unexpected. Our abundant good comes to us now. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all I am, all I have, all I joyously give, and all I joyously receive. Feel that joy, feel that gratitude, allow it to transform into generosity, and allow every cell and atom of your body, your heart, your soul, your mind to vibrate with that joy, that gratitude, that generosity, so that it radiates out beyond the body, creating a field of energy that attracts more and more to be grateful for, joyful about, and generous with. Yay, yay, yay. Amen. And now our prayer for protection, Unity Santa Fe version. The light of God I am surrounds me. The love of God I am enfolds me. The power of God I am protects me. The presence of God I am watches over me. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well.